And you only have one child? Okay, if we were to break down
that he knows of. Let's just go ahead and
what
put
was that? How will you know?
Well, he knocked me up and left for a year. So, I mean, there might be some other women out there.
Wait a minute. In fairness,
that may not be able to count how many partners they've been with, but I know it was his kid.
All right, everyone, here's today's story. Dustin hasn't been involved in his kids' lives for almost a year, but now he wants to come back. The problem? He can't pay child support, so he suggests covering daycare instead. Sounds fair, right? Not to Sarah. She wants child support on top of that. After all, it often feels like the system favors the mother. So, will the court agree, or will common sense prevail? Let's figure it out.
Okay. Is it Miss or Mrs. Cheney?
Mrs.
Mrs. Cheney.
Remarried.
You brought this case before the court. What's going on?
So, we were friends. We went out for drinks after a promotion, and everybody else left. It left us two. Had a little too much to drink. Anyway, I ended up pregnant. He's completely out of the picture. Doesn't answer text calls, whatever. All of a sudden, he comes to me and says he wants to be a part of our kid's life. And I said, okay, well, you're going to have to give me child support. I'm not just going to let you all of a sudden be dad, you know. And
how old is the child?
He's 18 months.
Okay.
18 months, yep.
Okay, continue.
Oh, I'm sorry. So he's like, well, I can't pay child support, but I'll pay the daycare bill. Daycare is $8.55 a month. Okay. He claims he only makes $24,000 a year. That adds up to almost half his income, if that's what he actually said. I mean, this is not the way a guy who lives a life of $24,000. I mean, that suit probably costs like, I don't know, half that or something.
It is a nice suit.
I shop clearance.
Okay.
I do pretty well on sales.
He shops on clearance.
Okay. I've never seen that suit at JCPenney, but all right.
Okay. So $855 a month in daycare. You say you make $24,000 a year.
$24,000 a year, that is
And
correct.
I do have his tax returns that he produced showing $24,000 a year, but you're self-employed?
That is correct.
So you did your own tax return?
I do, yes.
So is it accurate, or did you manipulate it?
If you're questioning if I'm being honest in my tax returns,
Yes.
I am being honest in my tax returns, Your Honor.
Okay. And I can only go based off of what he produces. Living-wise, do you live with someone?
I'm in an apartment sharing situation right now with the money I make every month, and with basically close to half of my salary going to pay for daycare for our child. I've got to share. I can't afford my own place on my own.
Okay. And living expenses, they're shared between your roommates?
Pretty much we kind of split the groceries, things like that. Utilities get split evenly.
Okay. Well, then that kind of makes sense. So you're asking, what exactly are you asking?
So, Sarah says she and Dustin went out for drinks one night, things happened, and she ended up pregnant. But instead of taking responsibility, Dustin disappears for a whole year. Now, out of the blue, he wants to be involved in his kid's life. Here's the twist. Dustin had originally agreed to pay for daycare, which costs $850 a month. But now he's saying he only makes $20,000 a year and can't afford it. If you do the math, that's almost half of his salary, and he's not even living alone, he's sharing rent just to get by. Now he wants a reduction, but Sarah says that's not enough. She wants child support too, along with the daycare payment. So, will the court feel sorry for Dustin, or is he about to get hit with more costs? Let's find out.
My point is that it seems kind of sketchy that he can afford almost $900 a month in daycare, but won't pay child support. I feel like there's something going on with the money situation. There's got to be a reason why he's doing things the way he does.
So you want him to pay $855 in daycare and child support?
I mean, he wants to be a part of his life.
That wasn't my question.
Okay.
Do you want him to pay $855 in daycare as well as pay child support on top of that?
I want us to be able to talk and discuss and find a number that works for both of us and that I think is fair.
Okay.
Just because I make more money than him doesn't mean I should be covering all of the child's expenses. $855 is daycare.
I definitely agree with that. I agree with that. So what is the middle ground that you're looking for? Because legally, he cannot pay daycare and child support. I mean, you can't have it both ways. So what would be a middle ground for you?
I guess we'd have to kind of discuss what would be child support versus daycare, and how the parental responsibilities would change. Would he get them on weekends? Would he get them on holidays? Things like that. So,
we're here
because he
today.
doesn't live real close either, you know.
Well, we're here today, so let's discuss it. Like I said, he cannot pay daycare on top of child support. It just can't happen. So if you were to give him a number that's in between the 24,000 that, I mean, because when you break that down based on child support for one child, it's not a lot of money. So if you were, let's say it's about $300 in child support. If you add that to $855, you're talking about child support in excess of $1,000. Are you asking that he pay $1,000 in child support?
I guess not exactly. I don't.
Well, I'm still trying to figure out why you're here and what you're asking me to do.
I guess I'm just trying to figure out what to do with the situation with him. I don't have a law degree. I don't have a lawyer. I don't know exactly how these things work.
Okay. And I'm helping you guys as much as I can.
Yeah, so I didn't know that you couldn't do daycare and child support. And I don't know what, I've never had child support before. I have no idea. I don't know, what you can do, what you can't do, what happens with visitation and stuff like that. He was absent the entire first year, completely absent. So I paid 100% of everything. He was in the hospital after he was born. I took care of those bills.
And you didn't give her any money?
Not at that point, Your Honor, no.
What was the reason for that?
I was effectively in the same situation I am now. Again, being self-employed, my income has not gone up. There was a little bit of a disconnect between the two of us. I probably, looking back, should have stepped in sooner, and that's all I'm trying to do now.
Okay.
I want to have a relationship with our son. The amount I'm paying on a monthly basis is already, again, 45% or so.
It's a lot.
Of my income. I don't know the percentages, et cetera, what I'm required to do. I feel I'm already stepping up, and by paying the full daycare, as far as I know, and I've talked to some friends, I'm paying more than I actually have to.
He actually is. Because if we were to break down, based on what it is that he makes, if we were to break down, and you only have one child?
Yeah.
Okay, if we were to break down
That he knows of. Let's just go ahead and
What
put
was
that.
that? How would you know?
Well, he knocked me up and left for a year. So, there might be some other women out there
Wait a minute. In fairness,
that may not be able to count how many partners they've been with, but I know it was his kid.
In fairness, he wasn't alone in knocking you up.
I get that. And I
kinda
took 100% responsibility for that child for a full 12 months. Okay.
Let's not blame it all on him. You have one child, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so let's stick to what is in front of us. We're not worrying about any other children that may be out there. So based on the financial documents that he provided at 20%, his child support should only be about $349.
All right, so Sarah's starting to look a bit suspicious. She thinks it's weird that Dustin can afford daycare but can't pay child support. And to be honest, she has a point. Just because she makes more money doesn't mean she should cover everything. I kinda agree with her there. But here's where things get crazy. Judge V tells her straight up that what she's asking for doesn't make any sense. Sarah keeps saying Dustin hasn't given her anything besides paying for daycare recently, but the guy is using half his salary just to take care of his kid. Then Judge V asks if this is his only child, and Sarah throws in a snarky that he knows of, trying to make him look even worse. She even says that since he left her for a year, he's probably done the same to other women, accusing him without proof and making him sound like a serial deadbeat. What do you all think? Let me know in the comments, and let's keep going.
And then health insurance is paid through you.
Yes.
How much do you pay?
It's like 130 or something a month. It comes right out of my check, so I'm not sure the exact amount of it.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I'm looking
130,
at
133, something like that.
I'm looking at what you also turned in. It looks like it's about $113.
13, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is what we're going to do to make it fair, because he is paying about 3 times the amount that his child support should be.
Yeah, well, his bar bills are about the price of that too, so.
Well, so are yours, but as I was saying, his child support is going to be set at what the daycare amount is. That's the fairest way to do it. At least we know that by you paying daycare, the child's daycare expense is covered each month. So that's something you do not have to worry about. And you will have to reimburse her for the health insurance that she has on the child. So when you add the $855 plus the $113, it comes out to $968 a month in child support. So $968 would be all that he pays. And out of that, that would include whatever, if you change daycares, let me just make sure I'm very clear on this. If you change daycares and the amount goes up to $1,000, all he's responsible for is the $855 for the daycare. That's it. That's all you're responsible for. But the health insurance, if you have health insurance available through your job, you can enroll the child under health insurance and remove that $113 additional charge, and you'll be only responsible for $855.
To make sure I understand, so I'm already paying $855 a month as compared to the $349 that you calculated I should be responsible for.
Well,
So now we're saying, well, instead of basing it off of $349, potentially lowering it, or at least the two of us coming to some sort of agreement saying, I'm already paying 45% of my salary. I've got to pay now $968 a month, which is, again, more than double what I'm supposed to be paying in child support.
You've been paying, although it's 3 times the amount, you've been comfortably paying this. This isn't something that she necessarily, well, when I say comfortably, I don't know your financial situation, but you've been paying it for some time.
With roommates and
right.
TV
and
dinners.
I understand, but under Texas law, we can deviate from what the guideline support should be if we find good reason to do it. And daycare expenses, they are considered one of those reasons. Now, if you two, while you're here, you want to agree to a lesser amount, if you want to meet in the middle and say, let's say you decide to do $700, let's say you decide to say $750, that's what you can do. But based on what you all have been telling me, you've been paying daycare, it's $855. That would be in the best interest of the child to at least make sure that the daycare expense is covered.
Understood.
So, like I said, if you guys decide to come in with something different, you can come back and modify that, and I'd be happy to enter in the number that you all come up with. Is there anything further today?
I don't think so.
Okay. Anything further?
No, thank you.
Okay. Well, there's nothing further. You all are dismissed.
All right, to wrap this up, Sarah's covering the kids' health insurance, but Judge Vonda points out that Dustin's already paying 3 times more than he technically should. Still, the judge orders him to reimburse Sarah for the insurance and keep paying for both daycare and health coverage. At this point, Dustin speaks up, asking why he's stuck with so much. Judge Vonda explains, since he's already paying $850 for daycare, he has to keep paying because, in Texas, daycare counts as a valid reason for child support. It's all about what's best for the kid. So yeah, Dustin tried to step up, and now he's facing a bigger financial commitment than he expected. Classic, right? But hey, if you like content like this, check out one of these videos. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you in the next one.